its programs and special reports.
Something? Let me tell you something. Every time I turn on the TV or walk into a bookstore, I see another author hawking his amazing self-help book. It's everything from how to quit your job and retire as a millionaire to how to eat like a pig and never leave your couch and lose weight, all right? Now, what I want to know is how did we manage to look good, fall in love, make money for the hundreds of years before these books came along? Well, tonight you're going to meet the people who have one thing on their mind. Selling you something. Self-help. It helps them. It's supposed to help you. Is it help or hype? Come on. Before I even start with our first guest, let me tell you very frankly that when he was being pre-interviewed by one of our producers, a young lady of a tender age, he suggested that perhaps by how she picked out her clothes, he could tell what she liked in bed. And now, it's interesting. It's interesting. All right, wait a second. Wait a second, guys. Wait a second. Now, I just want to tell you that producer, when she saw this guy, figured he might be able to find out because he's good-looking enough, all right? So, Doctor, I want to tell you that you have a date after the show with our producer, okay? No pay. Nice. Let me introduce you to Dr. Michael Brooks, author of Instant Rapport. And here is the book. Now, you have written this book. I'd like you to tell me, it's based on the so-called linguistic, I guess, programming.
Yes.
What exactly is this NLP?
Yep. NLP was a science that was developed years ago by two guys in California whose idea was to give people a way to influence other people, whether it be used in their personal relationships, in their relationships at the office, getting ahead. It remained in the preserve of the psychiatric community for a long, long, long time. I stumbled upon it about 5 years ago and thought this seemed to be neat. It seemed to be something that I could take, maybe reduce down, if I could.
Make some money out of it.
Make some money out of it,
and give
it to the everyday person.
You claim that your book can help people, like folks in my audience and at home, to influence their boss and get a raise. Now, don't you get a raise really by being hardworking and smart?
Sure, absolutely.
But you mean you can get one without being hardworking and smart?
No, this is a good adjunct to being hardworking and smart.
Because some people who are hardworking and smart still don't get the raise.
I would imagine that they don't, yeah, but they do not.
Okay.
What this does is it's just another thing that one would do, I would assume, to get ahead either in the office.
Well, let's be honest here for a second, Doc,
sure.
All right? I had those years where I struggled around and kicked around, too, and wasn't too successful. Now, I guess I'm fairly successful. I didn't use any books to get where I am. Aren't you just trying to make a few bucks off a couple of people that you think are losers?
Namely who?
Huh?
Namely who?
Don't you think that the people who buy this book, are buying it because people like you and like the media have convinced them that they are losers, and this is the way to develop some charisma?
And I agree. I hear what you're saying about that, and you're probably right. There are probably people who buy this because they think that it's something that they've seen on TV and might help them. In this particular case, I think it's a wonderful adjunct to what they normally do with their lives.
Now, let me go to a woman in the audience. Would you join me down on stage? Have no fear. Have no fear. Now just sit right down here. Let's see exactly what you can do. All right. Here seems to me a very successful woman. Doctor, let's see exactly what you can do for this woman. Can you tell what, for instance, this woman likes in bed just by talking to her? Easy, you animals. Now go ahead, sweetheart. He's going to analyze. Just talk back and forth, Doctor.
I think that it would be presumptuous for me to try and figure out this woman's sex strategy. I can tell you some things about her, though. I can tell you that she's a visual personality who responds well to what she sees and plays less importance probably on what she hears. I could tell you that to figure out someone's sex strategy, as you put it, or how they would relate to someone in bed, you'd need to find out more information. For instance, okay.
All right, go ahead, for
please.
instance.
For instance, find out exactly a time in her life when she had a successful relationship with someone sexually, how she represented that to herself. So I would ask her, if there was a time in your life when you had ever had a satisfactory sexual relationship, what was the very first thing?
Please.
What was the very first thing about that relationship that stuck in your mind? Was it a visual thing that you saw? Was it an auditory representation, or was it something that you felt? When you think back on that. I could tell you right now, before she even answers, that it was a visual representation because her eye accessing cues moved to the upper right. People tell you,
They're right?
Yeah, I guess.
People tell you what they're
Wasn't
thinking.
something you felt?
Well, feeling and visualization they go hand in hand, I think.
Hand in hand.
Okay.
Yeah, a visual represent.
Well, all right.
Bill Boggs here. Is Bill Boggs here? Would you sing the song, "You Take the High Road, I'll Take the Low Road, and I'll be in trouble before him"? Okay. So really, we're not going to get into your sex life. How old are you, please?
21.
21, so she obviously has had no sex life. Well, indeed. All right, so how do you, for instance, when you go shopping, all right, how do you, if you see a blouse that you like, how do you go select that blouse? What's the first thing you do when you see that blouse?
I could tell you that she touches it.
No, I want to hear from her.
That's kind of... Yeah, I like to feel it, see if it's going to feel good on me.
Then what's the second thing she does? You whisper to me.
She makes a decision by talking to herself.
Then the next thing you do?
I look at the price.
Look at the price, okay.
And then I go try it on.
You try it on, okay. And then what?
And then I picture if other people are going to like how it looks on me.
Ah.
Entirely visual. So what she does is she sees something, she touches it to see if she likes it, and the touching makes her want to see it again, and then she buys it. So if I were a salesman, I would...
Wait.
Sorry.
Who doesn't do that, though, when they go buy something?
Yeah,
what
well,
is
let's
it,
talk
a
about
fortune
your
teller?
sex life. It looks like it might be Now, Doc, let's talk about Nimrod's sex life.
Let's hear.
I don't know offhand what his sex life is. Have you had a satisfactory sexual experience in your life?
Very well.
You have? So why don't you recall that time for us?
When I recall that time?
Yeah,
Recall that
you don't
time.
have to give us...
What was the thing that really was satisfying about the sexual experience?
Oh.
Yeah.
I'd
This guy here is, all he does is
By the
do
way,
things
you
with his
don't need to
hands.
tell us the...
No, I'd have to say everything. The mood, the atmosphere, the foreplay, and then actually doing it.
So what a woman would need to know about this man's sexual attitude and his strategy for good sex is that he's a kinesthetic personality, which means feelings are everything to him. He said, I get in the mood and I get a feeling about this. So the way to approach him, if one was a woman and wanted to enroll him in herself, would be using feelings as opposed to visuality. It's important to know that.
So I will be doing the next segment of the show in my jockey shorts. And Next, we'll have an author who says, if you treat your wife like a dog, you'll keep her happy. Sounds good.
Transportation for the Morton Downey Jr. Show furnished by Quality Limousine Service. When in New Jersey, call 201-785-9071.
Let me introduce some folks at home base here. You have, of course, met the good doctor. Ah, shut up, Zibet! Met the good doctor at Loudmouth number 2, but let me introduce you to Jessie Nash, who is a self-help skeptic, among other things. Mickey Williams joins us at home base. She is a professional speaker and a very successful woman who has had, I believe, 7 or 8 careers, including one, I think it was a dance studio, Westport, Connecticut. Does that ring a bell?
Send out one of your producers was one of my students.
Yes, exactly. And then we have Peter Billack, who is the author of How Not to... Peter, as a matter of fact, before I tell the title, you have written the ultimate self-help book, How Not to Be Lonely.
Mm-hmm.
Now look at me. You look pretty lonely yourself. What the hell is your book about? I mean, you tell men... In your book, you tell men to treat their wives like dogs. I mean, that must endure you a while. Huh?
I was misquoted. Are you married? Yes. I said, treat your wife the way I treat my dogs. Give them love, attention, hug them, kiss them, pet them, pay for their things.
And if they wet the floor, rub their noses.
Well, I said that about mother-in-laws. Treat your mother-in-law the same way. If she messes on the carpet, shove her nose in it and kick her out in the street.
Mickey, Pete says he wrote his book because there are so many fat, middle-aged women out there looking for men. Does this man look like a knight in shining armor to you?
Not my knight in shining armor, but probably his wife.
Probably not even your day in shining armor.
No, I wrote the book for 2 reasons. One reason, to make a hell of a lot of money, and I have. And the other reason is because I wanted to help people. But I took about 5 years, interviewed 6,000 people around the United States to get stories from people like you so I could give to other people who maybe have forgotten some of these things. Some new things they can learn, too, but some things they needed to know. They needed to know them.
Things like what? Things like what?
Things like communication, consideration, compromise, and I talk about the fat ladies. Sure, God loves fat people, but men don't. Men don't.
Well, wait a second. That's not true. That's not true. I have one skinny brother, and one skinny brother's been married 3 times. Those 3 women, if you cut their fat off, will keep your house warm for a year.
Yeah.
I mean, those 3 women weigh a total of about maybe 850 pounds.
Yeah, and I know thousands of people who do not like it at all.
But he likes fat women.
I had a
They give
radio...
them shade in the summer and keep them warm in the winter.
Yeah.
You know something?
I tell most of my ladies, I want them to have self-esteem. And if they're seriously overweight, they usually lack self-esteem. If they're happy fat, stay fat. But I'm telling you this,
They
ladies...
lack self-esteem because our society says fat people are ugly. Who says fat people are ugly?
Me.
Our society does.
I do. I do for the most part. I'm saying it's not ugly. I don't mean ugly. I mean that more fat people are lonely than are thin people, I promise. My survey showed that if a woman wants to find a man...
the audience here.
Yeah, a woman wants to find a man, she looks the best she can,
No
she
fat
feels
people
good about
in the
herself, set a list of values, go out and hunt.
There are a lot of women, Mort,
Wait, let me hear Mickey.
women that enjoy their size. There's a program, I'm very involved in the fitness industry, and there's a program called Women at Large. These are specific women who really like their size. They associate, the same thing with the dress industry. There are people now making a fortune because there are women who really like the size that they are.
I'm going to interrupt you for a second.
Go ahead,
because,
Jesse.
you know, I've been listening to this for the last 20 minutes. When you spoke, sir, the only real tone of sincerity is when you said, I did this to make a lot of money. For those words, you grabbed onto those words like you were clutching the Bible.
Hey, it was the Bible, buddy. Hey,
wait a minute.
He obviously didn't spend his money on clothes.
Well,
so
all I want to know is, you know, I see a book, How Not to Be Lonely. I see another book, Instant Rapport. There is a level here of abuse, and the abuse is the nature of people is insecurity. The power is within yourself. But most people, unfortunately, are insecure. So people like yourselves will put a book out of this nature. Anybody, it's like a horoscope. It's like the horoscope says, tomorrow you will be good looking. Today is a good day to ask for raise. We're all so curious as to what could make us better that we'll look to the first thing. And
so what should we look to then?
Ourselves. You gotta believe in
How do we teach?
Don't buy their book.
How do we teach ourselves to look to ourselves?
It's called self-discipline. You got to look.
I agree with you. I agree with you.
I don't need anybody else but myself.
All right, let me hear this.
Look to yourself, and you'll find many, many, many lonely, lonesome, unhappy moments by yourself.
You're sitting there preaching all this good stuff, and your first words out of your mouth was, "I did it for the almighty dollar."
Hey, I said it's a combination. I didn't say first and second.
But it's the first thing that came out of your mouth. You didn't even talk about the issue in your book. The first thing you said was the money.
Let me find something. First of all, the man is writing a book on psychology, and therefore probably has a degree to back this up.
Do you have a degree, sir?
Wait a second.
No,
Let me do
I
the show.
have I have a Bachelor of Science in Geology and a Master's in Physics and Chemistry. 7 years I spent as a mercenary, places like Biafra, Rhodesia, Bear Pigs, 2 tours in Vietnam while you were growing long hair, son.
Now you see the man is getting nervous because the issue has suddenly become the length of my hair. That is not the issue here. The issue is how not to be lonely.
That's right. First
of all,
all
that you've done
let me hear
make
him.
Let me
hear him.
Okay, well, he just insulted me. I have a right to respond.
No, you insulted me by saying the only truth I said because you apparently don't know. And hey,
what
let me tell you.
Doctor, here's a guy without a degree. Do you think you need a degree to write these books on psychology?
I think what the problem is here, Mort, is that books like this that come out, present themselves as self-help books are more industrial books for the author. And I think that the way that books like self-help books, and I agree with Jesse in the sense that there are so many books out there that are self-aggrandizing, that are done for the bucks. I hope this doesn't blemish books that really want to serve people.
Have you read his book? Have you read his book?
I just glanced through it.
Does his book really want to help people?
I think it smacks of moneyism.
Smacks of moneyism. By the way, what's your smack of?
I think mine smacks of service.
Hey, yeah, fine. Let me tell you about the money.
What do you think your book smacks of? What do you think your book smacks of?
My book is to go out. I want for the first time to put a book out that wasn't written by a psychologist, psychiatrist with 14 multi-syllable words per page with clinical information. I wanted to write a book that people could understand and identify with. My book deals with brutal reality. It deals with the truth. It deals with the kind of people that I found out there.
It deals with your reality.
Also, my book has done almost $6 million. So figure out about that. And it's gone out in audio, it's gone out in video, and
so what makes you? You're selling yourself. Video, audio. What?
I'm telling you.
Go out and buy it?
I have thousands. I talk to thousands of people per year.
Caring about the people. You don't give a damn if they're lonely. You give a damn if they buy your book. You give a damn if they buy your video.
Hey, everybody's got to eat, buddy. Everybody's got to eat now. Mark doesn't do this because he likes you. Believe that. He doesn't.
I got no morals. I got long hair.
let me introduce some of the folks we have, all right, at home base with us now. We have Lewis Harrison. We have Tanya Mamon, who's an image... Tanya, how do you pronounce your last name?
Mammon.
Mammon?
Yeah.
All right. Who's also an image consultant.
Thank
Nikki
you.
Williams, who was with us just a few minutes ago. And Harry Lipsig, who doesn't need any self-help books. There was a gentleman. Well into his 80s, damn near 90. He's one of the outstanding lawyers in this country. Let me start first with Lewis. Lewis, you're a motivational consultant. Right?
Yeah.
And you claim you can turn any man in America into Donald Trump. Trump. How the hell do you do that?
Well, the main thing in doing that is teaching people how to be honest in their self-assessment. People lie to themselves. They say, oh, I can't do this and I can't do that. My mother didn't let me. My teacher told me. I'm too this, I'm too that. So they live their life totally in excuses. It's like a big lie. And all they need to do is say, what do they want to have? What's the reason why they don't have it? And what are they not willing to do to get it? And
How
once they
come
know
you
that,
haven't turned yourself into a Donald Trump if you can do it for everyone?
I don't want to be Donald Trump.
You don't?
No.
No? I mean, are you satisfied with what you are?
I'm satisfied except for those things that I'm working on right now to get me to the next step.
Such as getting more hair?
Oh, no.
You like that?
Oh, I like myself this way.
All right. All right, let me see if I can...
Who corrects you when you...
Excuse me?
Who corrects you when you have your little faults?
That's a good question.
Yeah.
What I do is I create a support system. I
who
get
supports
5 or
you?
6... You asked me a question. You want an answer?
Sure, go
Good.
ahead. Aggressive, aren't we?
The first thing that I do is I ask questions rather than make statements. Because then I get information instead of giving information. That's how I learn. Second thing, as I create people...
Who do you ask those questions?
Who do I ask those questions? I
right
ask questions to
But
people.
Who are the right people? How do
Who
you
are
know
the right
that?
people?
Everybody.
I get a guy like you. Someone with a
I'm
different...
not necessarily the right person. I know nothing about you.
That's the point.
Jesse, come here.
See, if you know something about me, then you're going to be a yes man for me. I don't need a yes man.
Don't put your microphone away. Oh, you don't have a microphone.
All right.
I want you to kind of assess this person.
Okay.
Tell me what's wrong with him.
I don't know there's anything wrong with him.
Oh, believe me.
I can tell you one thing that doesn't work for him in his life. I can tell you one thing.
What is that?
He has a lot of opinions rather than questions. Now, when you talk all the time and you always have an opinion, there's no room for anything to get in. Do you understand? So if you ask questions, you get new information. Let me finish. You get new information, then you're able to get new information to do new things. If you have an opinion, you keep doing the same thing over and over and over again.
First of all, I'm also a journalist. And
Good.
as a journalist, I ask plenty of questions. My job is to assess a person's personality in
Okay.
about 15 seconds.
But you weren't doing your job here. That's the
I've been
problem.
doing my job. This entire audience loves me.
One of the reasons...
Boy, you talk about sublime and ridiculous.
And look at this, Dave.
Want to join me in the bathroom to get a haircut?
So you asked me a question before. Wait. You asked me a question before. You never let me answer it. Who do I go for? Right? Where do I get my support? I get guys like you. I get someone who may not agree. Let me answer your question. I get someone who's not going to be a yes man for me. So that when I think of something, I could run it against your criticism and come out with something in between what I think is right and what
All right,
you think
okay,
is
guys,
right.
it's getting boring. It's getting boring. It's
Yeah,
getting
it's
boring.
getting boring.
It's getting boring. Let me go to Tanya. Let me go to Tanya, all right?
Yeah, I'm not
Tanya,
boring.
you're an image consultant.
Yes.
Let me ask you to consult on some of my wardrobe, all right?
Okay.
Now, what do the clothes wear? Let's have 4 different shots of me wearing different clothes, all right? What do the clothes say about me? Now, see those clothes, folks. Let's throw them up with Downey in them. There's one in my...
Definitely your sexy look. Real hot. Real hot.
Okay, that's my sexy look, real hot. Okay. What is that?
Preppy Mort's playing teacher. Playing teacher.
No, I think that was a Dallas Stars. I think that was Texas jacket. This is my cycle sluts from hell.
Looks like you're getting ready for a vacation.
Vacation. I am getting ready for a vacation, believe me. Do I have anything else I'm dressed in? How about it, folks? One more. One more. That's very
What
good.
about the clothes you wear and what they
His
tell us?
socks. You finally showed your socks. We love those socks. All right. Nice socks, Morton. Woo! Woo!
All right. Give me
Great
a
shirt, by the way. Great shirt.
His gangster look.
Yeah, I like black shirts. Boggs hates them.
Can I
Well,
ask
Boggs,
her
my
a
executive
question?
producer, hates them. What do my clothes say?
Can I ask her a question?
Sure, Harry.
Doesn't his present attire show smugness, self-assurance, and cockiness?
I wouldn't say that at all.
You disagree with me? Don't each of the colors tell a tale?
For sure. His tie's great. I love it. It shows a lot of
very
pizzazz.
reserved tie of the showman.
I work with a lot of stockbrokers in New York who wear ties like that.
Go ahead, Harry. You're on a roll, kid.
The very reserved tie of the showman, the apt showman who loves the public to be aware of him.
Right.
What is that drilling rig on your tie?
The drilling rig on my tie is an imitation, or rather a miniature. What the hell was it again? a miniature. Wait a minute, I'll get it to you. A miniature oil dig.
Miniature oil thing.
Yes.
Are you in the oil business?
Oil drill.
You in the oil business?
Well, part of the oil I get is from men like yourself who hand out the oil to other people, and some of it is poisoned on occasion.
Oh, all right. Good for Harry. Good for Harry. And the apple, of course, is because
The
it's
apple
New
is
York.
I love New York,
I love
even
New
as
York.
I know damn well you do,
You
and
bet I
all
do.
of us should.
You bet I do.
With all of its
Harry, how
color and
old are
all
you
of its
now?
vice.
How old are you?
How old am I?
How young are you, really?
How young am I? I am as young as the day I was born. I'm 1,000 years old in experience, and I will be 88 years of age on December. And enjoying every damn minute of it.
You have heard a man who speaks out and has spoken out all of his life. He has fun doing it. You do the same thing. Kick them in the butt if they don't listen. Next, just who in the world needs another diet book? We'll meet him. Come on. Couple of new players for us at home base. Couple of new players for us at home base. We have Lawrence Azad, who is a nutritionist. Lawrence, how are you, sir? Thank you. Dr. William Negler, who is a medical hypnotist out of Detroit, Michigan. Doctor. And of course, you have not met yet Pete Gentile, who's the author of How to Win at Losing Weight. So, Dr. Negler, we'll start with you. No, as a matter of fact, Dr. Negler will start with you. You hypnotize people into losing weight. What happens when they wake up?
Okay, we brainwash people. Huh? I started out as a deprogrammer working with cult victims, Moonies and Bhagwan, and I began to be curious to see whether you could use the same technology to help people instead of hurt people. So for the past 6 years, we've been doing research and using medical brainwashing to plant a thin person's belief system in a fat person's head. See, weight loss isn't a matter of knowledge. Everybody knows in order to lose weight, there's no magic. Just don't eat so much. Just like everybody knows that cigarettes are killers, but they can't stop doing it. It's not a matter of knowing what you should eat or knowing that you shouldn't smoke. It's a matter of willpower. And what we found is by using the technology the Moonies do, which is terrifying, which is why the FDA's been in twice. I mean, the potential for changing people's minds. Moonies in 12 hours convinced people that Reverend Moon's is Jesus. What we try to do is put a thin person's belief system in the fat mindset, or take the non-smoker's mind.
You ever been fat?
Never.
So you don't know?
No, but my partner, it's interesting. She had a 35-year history of binging and compulsive eating, and we have arguments about this all the time, because I say, I've never been fat. And we can take a pristine, thin person's belief system and plug it in. What that does really is take all the effort.
Smoke?
No.
You're forgetting
Takes all the
Have you ever
effort.
smoked?
No, it takes all the effort and struggle out of it. No. But it's easy.
You make love?
Occasionally. But it's very easy.
How old are you, Doctor?
I'm 38. smokers...
38. I'm 56. I look so much better than he is, and I'm happy.
Smokers versus non-smokers is very interesting. The reason people smoke is the same reason they make love. It feels terrific. It feels wonderful. Same reason people are fat.
The reason people smoke is because it's the same as the reason people make love?
It feels good. It's
wonderful.
wonderful.
I make people love because I love the person I'm making love to.
And it feels good. It feels
wonderful. I can go
wonderful.
masturbate. It feels good, too. I don't do that.
So does smoking. Smoking feels wonderful, as does overeating. And what the brainwashing
Overeating doesn't feel good. You overeat, you feel bloated when you're through. You have to go to the bathroom, sit on the toilet, you read the
Time.
But
isn't it true? Wait, there's one thing we're forgetting.
Shut up.
To be hypnotized.
You're out of nothing.
Yeah, what's this brainwashing?
Okay.
To be hypnotized, you have
I happen to be the easiest victim of hypnosis
unethical about
in the world,
brainwashing.
Right? So, would you hypnotize me?
No, because we don't use hypnosis, we use brainwashing. Brainwashing is not hypnosis, it's not subliminal. Technically, what the Moonies do is alternate periods of sensory deprivation and sensory overload, tell people 12 hours later, Reverend Moon is Jesus. They quit their job at IBM and sell paperback books very happily. What we do is take that same technology of periods of boredom and overstimulation, and we get about a 50% success rate because people stop dieting.
Wouldn't you get that if you just sat with people and told them time after time after time to stop eating? Let me tell you, good doctor, let me tell you, sir, I used to weigh 266 pounds.
Yes.
All right? I lost that weight in 90 days.
By not eating.
No doctor.
Right.
No hypnosis.
Exactly.
I just stopped eating.
Yes. Yes. That's the secret. That's wonderful. That's what
and
thin
I
people
started
do.
making it regularly.
Can I interrupt?
We did a study. We looked at what difference was between thin people and fat people. We said, thin people, do you ever diet? And they say, no. We said, what do you eat when you want to lose weight? They said, nothing. I said, aren't you hungry? They said, of course, silly. How do you think I lose the weight? We went over to fat people.
They say silly? They say silly?
No. How do I interrupt?
Doctor, I want Pete. Pete.
Thank you.
You've written another one of these, Let's Lose. It's called Conceptual Dieting, the 4 Basic Steps. Now, what does your book say that thousands of these other books haven't said? And what is the success ratio of your book?
Okay, working backwards, what it says that the other books don't say is it knocks the other diet plans. Not my opinion. It exposes a lot of scams, not my opinion. It's from Consumers Reports magazine, extensive research.
So you really didn't have to write, you just bought Consumers
Excuse me?
Report? You didn't really have to write a book, you just bought Consumers Report and reported what they reported.
No, I tied it together. So you want to say, if what you're asking is why'd I write the book, like the other fellow named Pete said, to make a lot of money? No. I wrote the book because I decided after a bunch of years I couldn't paint. I wanted to be an artist. I have to express. I can express in words what I can't do with color and paint. So the book is me plus reliable information. Because like he said before...
Have you checked on anyone who's used your book?
Excuse me? I have a little trouble hearing.
All right, Pete. All right. That's because you lost weight too fast.
Probably.
Have you...
I was never overweight.
Have you checked on people who've read your book to find out if they've lost weight?
Right.
Have you?
Yes.
And to what degree are you successful? The good doctor here is successful 50% of the time. To what degree are you
I haven't
successful?
kept statistics, so I can't tell a lie.
Well, what are some of the diet scams that you talk about that are in there?
Well, biggest one, I think, is cellulite. That hit this country a while back. Many women in the audience, they say pinch your little buttocks and feel the little ripples in the waffles. According to the American Medical Association, whatever you like, feel it. According to the Medical Association, according to the American Medical Association, there's no such thing as cellulite. It doesn't exist.
Have you ever seen a fat woman out of her girdle?
Yes, sir.
With a lot, or a fat man, for that matter, with a lot of those little cottage
Mostly women,
cheese.
though, yeah.
I know a lot of guys with the cottage cheese crap, too.
But nobody asks why. See, that's true, but when I try to explain the why behind things...
But they got that way by dieting. Once a week, I'll get in a patient. They'll say, doctor, I'm too skinny. I want to gain 10 pounds. And we send them over to the local diet clinic. The best way to gain weight is to go on a diet.
Thing of all, and if you let me, I'll tell it to them.
Okay, go to a loudmouth, Harry, so I can hear you. Oh, thanks, Jess. Thank you.
The important thing of all, in my opinion, is what we drill into our self-conscious. The one thing that hasn't been touched upon here. And our self-conscious sells and exposes us every minute of the day. And a perfect example of that self-conscious is the gentleman who wrote the book, who was up there before, who said...
Yeah, this guy in the funny suit.
Yes, and his subconscious exposed him in 2 respects. and money was the subconscious that dominated his subconscious. For the first thing he said was, he spoke about the money that he made out of the book. And then later on, he said something that really shocked me, because he said, the
Harry,
7
you're
years
shocked
I
at 88?
spent, the 7 years, what was the 7 years you spent?
Yeah, the main thing is this.
No,
Yeah,
what was the 7 years you spent?
Answer the question.
As a missionary. And
That's
there's
right.
nothing more infamous, in my opinion, than a man who sells his loyalty to a foreign country for the sake of... Exposing the man who is living for the dollar.
Someone who doesn't know what they're talking about without hearing the facts, right? I work for our country, sir. That's maybe why you're 88 years old, because I spent time over there, and I left blood, and I left meat, and I left bone on those places for you. I'm telling you, and you're right, I did write the book for money, because I woke up, I was 52 years old. I was dead broke because some people in Houston that I invested money in, businesses, they wrote their own books. Chapter 11, Chapter 7. I had to make money first, and now I'm using it to go out and really do some good. I'm talking with old folks home. I'm talking with retirement people. I'm talking with people in support groups. I'm sharing them with things with them as a friend. I'm telling them things I learned from people out there like that.
But you're their friend as long as they buy your book.
Hey, but there's many people who don't buy my book that I talk to.
And they're not lonely anymore, and he's done a good service. If one person read this man's book and they're not lonely anymore, then he's done a good service.
But they've done studies and shown that the people that buy those books don't need them.
Somebody in San Diego, somebody in South Dakota, they're not lonely anymore. They read his book.
That's right.
Let me go. How about, wait a second, folks. How about let me coming to Mr. Azad here. You're a man, Mr. Azad, who works with real people and their medical problems. What do you think about our friends and their magical weight loss systems?
Well, I think that there are a variety of...
Please, I'd like to hear them.
There are different approaches.
Please, I can't hear them. Are they being ripped off?
Okay. There are different approaches that work for different people. Now, certainly, I don't know personally that much about hypnosis and weight loss, but I think that there are segments of the society who can respond to that. However, in my particular practice, I try to use simpler forms of relating to a person's attitudes about themselves, first of all, self-image.
But brainwashing is not attitude change, it's belief change. You still love chocolate cake. You just have the ability not to eat so much.
Where the hell they get these guys, huh? We'll be back and find out.
If you live in the tri-state area and would like to be a part of our studio audience, write to Mort Tickets, 9 Broadcast Plaza, Secaucus, New Jersey, 07096. Please include your telephone number.
Harry, you said you had the best bit of self-help in the world and you could do it in 20 seconds.
Self-help in the world is to sell yourself, and that is to keep telling yourself that whatever the hell you feel you want to do or accomplish, that you can do it. And you say it to yourself enough times till your subconscious takes hold of it and brings you the way you want.
Thank you,
Try
Harry.
it out and you'll see.
Oh. Zip it, animal.
All I really want to say is that, as we can see tonight, is most of the reasons why people wrote these books is that they're motivated for money. And we're in a money-oriented society.
We're both the, we're both preacher's kids.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, my grandfather was a rabbi, and my dad's a rabbi.
Ask me too. Yeah. It don't come off from your books. It doesn't come off from your diet pills. And first of all, you like the kind of guys, nerds that we beat up in high school. You're gonna come here and tell me that your brainwashing and bulwarky is gonna make me lose weight? You're gonna sit down, head to head, I'm gonna look in your nerdy face, and you're gonna tell me, hey guy, you're gonna lose 30 pounds, because I'm telling you so. What world are you in?
It's exactly what the Moonies do. It's terrifying. You can take, by alternating periods of deprivation overload.
First of all, you gotta speak English. I mean, we're not all illiterate. We are talking words that are 65 letters long. Cut it down, talk to us man to man, and you know, listen, first of all, if I see you put pins on my head, lay me under a machine, take pictures of my stomach,
when a mother gives birth to a child,
I don't understand.
When a mother gives birth to a child, for the first 10 minutes, there's a chemical change in the mother's brain. They give the child to the mother to hold. How the hell does God, the mother to the child?
Let me tell you
chemical change.
If I was a lady in labor for 20 hours, I think there would be a chemical change in me too.
That allows imprinting to occur. What brainwashing does is take examples of the
Doctor, let me hear this good lady right here. Yes, ma'am.
Well, I don't think there's anything wrong with self-help books.
Nothing wrong with self-help books?
No, why should there be? It's like taking advice from a good friend, or if someone has some information.
Exactly right. That's what I do with mine. Let me tell you what I do with mine. I talk to him like a friend, and I'm better than a good friend.
I don't think I'm sincere.
You're right.
I don't think he's sincere, but there are some people
I'm better than a good friend because I've got
that
the
are very
truth.
sincere and truly want to help.
Friends won't always tell you the truth.
What's his name? Basaglia? Basaglia, is that the guy's name? That's a sincere guy. We should have had Leo on. Well, go ahead, sir.
All I want to say is you have an unusual array of characters here. One looks like a used car salesman. The other one looks like a nerd out with a master's degree and God knows what.
It looks like George Bush.
Boy, isn't this a case of the pot calling the kettle black? Look at that gentleman. That's telling. I don't knock people. I don't talk about people. Jesse and I had a little crowd back and forth, but these guys don't know. I
it looks like George Bush.
I tell people.
Doesn't look like.
I tell people things like a friend
It
would,
looks more like
and
Barbara
their friends won't tell me.
We'll be back in just a second with the audience. Stay with us. Hey, gang, are you mad as hell, huh? Well, let the rest of the world hear about it on my TV show. Send me a 1/2-inch VHS cassette no longer than 90 seconds. If I think you got a gripe, on the tube it goes. And if you get yours on, some great gifts. Come on, pal. Now ain't the time to zip it. Here's the address.
To order a transcript, send $3 to TV Transcripts, Morton Downey Jr. Show, Box 1649, Alpine, California, or call 1-619-788-MORT.
Okay. You look like you'd be in favor of self-help books.
Assuming that people could read books rationally, it can't really hurt them. This day, we have a really good, wealthy nation. We could spend our money if we want to. That's all.
That was it?
A person can make $1.
Basically, I think we should take all these self-help books, put them in the middle of the room, and set fire to them.
Let's see. Come on, let this, let this young man. Red, sweetheart, stand up. Say something.
I am up.
Oh, you're
I think the only thing that these gentlemen have is a master's in procrastination, okay? Because most of this is BS, and they're preying on the unfortunate people. I think the only way you're going to help yourself comes from inside and probably finding someone who will find the good in you, not reading some baloney in a book.
No, you can't reply. You know what? These guys have proven one thing. You know the best self-help book? Your bank book, baby. They know it.
Want more than just packaged music videos? Watch Hit Parader's Heavy Metal Meltdown, the hard rock TV magazine that goes behind the scenes with interviews, news, fact-filled features, exclusive concert action, rarely seen classic footage, and videos at the top of the charts. Hit Parader's Heavy Metal Meltdown, Saturday night at 12:30 on Channel 9.